Welcome to Come Inside of Me. Today is Dry Hump Day, Wednesday, and I want to talk about ice, ice, baby, ding, 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 and immigration. I kind of feel as if Wednesdays are a good day for me to talk about things that I am actively censored about when I try to talk about it on social media. I mean, it's so whatever. I'm not surprised that they're censoring people. I'm like, wait, what's happening? Why are these corporations censoring us? What's going on, man? Of course they're censoring us. Like, that makes perfect sense that they censor. But what I think we have to be really creative about is how to not just like have social media be this opportunity for us to entertain ourselves with memes. Although I love a meme and I believe, one of the best meme queens on planet Earth. I mean, especially if you're a friend of mine, my ability to curate your meme game is next level. But I also think we have to really start focusing on the potential community that is being or could be built on social media. Because if we just let it be entertaining and if we just let it be information spreading, that doesn't lead us to action. Action is embodied, right? Information is in the head. Knowing something, understanding something, being curious about something, all of that is important. But if everything just stays in the head, you're gonna feel nutso butso. You're gonna be like, I cannot take any more information. I need to write a song. Wait, that's actually a sick idea. Like a rock song, like a 90s rock song, like, I can't take any more information. Dun, 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 dun. Something like that. Okay. To come. To come is my new 90s ballad. I can't take any more info. I can't take more information. That's actually, is that what's funnier? DM me. Like my own original track, or I can't take more information. Like a Rolling Stones homage, if you will. All right, I'm gonna think about it, but don't let me forget. So, what am I talking about? Obviously, I just drank coffee. I really, I really react poorly when people are like, you shouldn't drink coffee. It's unhealthy for you. Because coffee is genuinely my will to live. Like, I'm not even just like saying that to be facetious or to be hyperbolic. I really mean it. I was recently in Asheville performing, and there was like not an opportunity for me to have my organic coffee at the place I was staying at. So my friends then took me to this tea place, and like, yeah, I was like, okay, well, I could try some tea. The will to live isn't in tea. It's just not there. It's in coffee. It's like probably tea is the cocaine of the stimulant world, the drink stimulant world, and I need the crack. I need the crack of coffee. Look, I'm not doing any drugs anymore. Well, I mean, I'll sometimes have a little bit of weed and a mushroom, but that barely feels like drugs. But I don't do it very often, very, very rarely, and I do not drink. So, can I have my coffee? Please and thank you. All right, wait, I don't want to forget the song idea. So please don't let me forget that. All right, let's talk about immigration. First of all, I want to talk about it on an emotional perspective, right? Because I think we have to understand, why are some people having the emotional reaction of like, yeah, get them out of here. They don't belong in here. We don't want those people in our country. They need to go. Why are there those people? And then why are the people that there are those of us like myself who are like, stop rounding up people and sending them to prison camps? How about you just let them stay? And I don't believe this is just about facts or information. There is something emotional that's happening. So let's deconstruct the emotions first, or should we talk about the facts first? No, let's do the emotions first. Okay, so this is what I believe. You know those people that are rude to waiters? And it's like, what? I find it very uncomfortable when someone is rude to a waiter. But I have been a waitress, and not to brag, I'm truly the best waitress. I'm so good. I'm one of those waitresses that like doesn't have a pad and just remembers your order. I'm like, yeah, I got it. I'm just clocking it up here in my head. Even if it was a party full of 12 people, I would just remember the order. Never made a mistake. I don't know, why was I doing that? It was very like Russian roulette of me, but it was just what I was doing. I liked to be busy in a restaurant because I needed my mind to be full of the things I had to do. Otherwise, I was like stuck in my own consciousness with my own thoughts. No, thank you. Hence why I work so much. It's a meditation. So, long story long, I'm an amazing waitress. I actually took it very seriously, but I was young. I wasn't a career waitress. I got out of college. I was a waitress. I was a bartender. I knew I was like going to do something else. I'm not shitting on a career waiter or waitress, BTW. It's an amazing job. It's an amazing community. I find it to be really fun. And you're working with food, you're working with people. I like it. But some people have a snooty snootaroo when it comes to anything in the service industry, because they assume that's all you are. I mean, like, you can be a waitress and then be an amazing artist and photographer or mother or father or backbender. I don't know you, but I personally do not judge those in the service industry, never have. All of my jobs are in the service industry. I am of service. I am a servicey person, but there are those that judge the servicers, okay? So I believe what's happening when someone is rude to a waiter is that they are buying into the cultural narrative that, like, if you're a waiter, that's somehow, oh, do you hear my clock beep? That's somehow not to be a respected profession. Okay, fine, whatever. If you're buying into that cultural narrative, then you are rude to waiters because you want to distance yourself from the role of waiter. So it's like this unconscious way of telling your own self-esteem, well, yeah, at least I'm not the waiter. And so the rudeness is to create the distance and to make sure the waiter knows that you're serving me. I'm the customer. I mean, I guess it's people who are rude to any customer service, people. I mean, I think we all have been rude to like a customer service tech person when we're like in a state of total chaos. We're not saints, okay? That happens. But when you're just rude willy-nilly to service people, that is coming from a place of not wanting to identify with them, not wanting to see yourself of that same either class, social status, whatever it is. And that is where the rudeness comes in. It's to differentiate yourself from them. Okay, so let's apply this logic to immigrants, quote unquote, undocumented workers. And the reason why I'm going to put that in quotes is that, let's go back. I'm going to go back to why I put it in quotes, the undocumented workers. Okay, so put a pin in it. All right, I believe that everyone understands the concept that we are all immigrants, okay? No one is really like, no, I belong here forever. We all get it. We murdered the Native Americans to be here. Geno, murder, now we're here. So no one is actually denying that. So I think there's two things that are happening. One is not wanting to hold the genuine, chaotic heartbreak of America being founded on the bones and blood of other humans. I mean, yeah, we can posture and we can pretend. Yeah, that's fine. War happens, Geno happens. We can do all that. However, as humans, as soul creatures, as light beings, I don't think any of us can get out of the karmic, spiritual guilt, horror, sadness, and just like utter depression around that fact. This land is built on bones and blood, on the graves of others who were here. Okay? So you can do whatever mental gymnastics you want. That's still part of our quantum reality. Okay, that's phase one, is just not wanting to hold that pain, because that pain is heavy to hold. I understand why people don't want to hold the pain. It weighs on the shoulders. It's gonna give you back problems. It's gonna make you feel a certain way, and that way is grief. And people don't like to process grief. So if you're like, that's not something to do with me, I don't have to hold this grief, yada yada, you're gonna just, you're gonna not participate with that kind of thinking, because you do not want to hold the grief. Okay, that's exhibit A. Exhibit B is understanding, yeah, fine, we're all immigrants, but I'm not an immigrant anymore. Therefore, the more I distance myself from immigrants, the more I'm implanting myself in the land, the more I am putting my stake, the more I am a citizen. It's like, that's where patriotism and that's where nationalism is really interesting, because we can be so easily manipulated by nationalism by giving people an opportunity to be like, well, you're American now. You're the American now, so why don't you protect your nationalism and not let any of these other fuckfaces come in? I mean, we all know the history of Irish people. We all know the history of Italian people. It was not easy for them to come over here. No, Polish people, there was plenty of bigotry and racism and stereotypes and all this happening to the Polish, the Irish, the Italian, who have been grandfathered into whiteness. So they are now considered white because it behooved the status quo to put them into the group of whiteness. But it's not as if those people and the history and their DNA does not understand what it is to be discriminated against. Of course they do. 100% they do. So that is why we distance ourselves from the immigrants, is because it's about wanting to feel like you belong. And the best way to feel like you belong is to exclude others. That's how you form a group, by excluding others, right? So I think that emotional aspect is really important, because what is the spiritual calling is for belonging. It's for genuine belonging. And when we live in this capitalist system where you have hierarchy because of landowners, because of business owners, because of CEOs, politicians, blah, 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 you get it. That hierarchy will always create an insecurity of belonging when you are not of the 1%, when you are not of the elite class. And then the elites don't like the immigrants because whatever, they actually love them because they hire them. They do like them. Hello, that's how their businesses function. So let's start getting into the fickety facts, okay? Let's get into the facts. The corporations hire immigrant labor. Why do they hire immigrant labor? Because they're easier to exploit, okay? The American dream is about bringing immigrants into America. It's not for you. It's not for Americans. That's not what the American dream is. No, it's a branding and marketing ploy. That's what the American dream is, to bring people in. It's not for you. It's for them. It's for people that are not in America to come in. Come on in, everybody. Live the American dream. The reason why they want people to come here to live the American dream is around exploitation. Okay, so you make this promise, you make this posturing, you make this idea of what is possible here in order to bring more immigrants in. That is the branding of America. Hook, line, and sinker. All right? So when the immigrants come, they are more desperate. They are going to be in more desperate situations, and they are going to be more nationalist because they're going to want to belong. And we like soldiers. We like people fighting for our country, and we like cheap labor. That is what America is about. Soldiers and cheap labor. Don't get it twisted. America is not about everyone should have an opportunity, because the founding fathers were a bunch of rich kids. All right? Look at them. They weren't like the founding fathers. It's like, if the founding fathers were today, it would be like a guy named Chad, no shade on the Chads of the world, but like it would be Chad and it would be Broad, and they'd be like, oh, my daddy, you know. Those are the founding fathers. Giving founding father energy is rich kid energy. It's Nepo baby shit, okay? So what we have to recognize is that when companies hire undocumented workers, it's basically slave labor. It's people they can exploit because those people are not going to unionize. All right, let's talk about the unions, all right? Just from a philosophical level, do you understand how dangerous a union is? You just use your brain for 4 seconds. I wish I had some coffee to drink while you used your brain. You just take a second of your life to think about how dangerous unions are to corporate interests. Okay, why do you think they're always being smashed about? This is why immigrant labor is so important. Bada ba bing ba boom. It is to destabilize the potential of unionizing. It's destabilizing the potential of workers' rights coming together because you have the quote unquote undocumented and then you have the people who are American citizens, all right? Undocumented workers pay taxes, my dude. They pay taxes. They paid $96 billion in taxes in 2022. Let that sink in. Undocumented workers pay taxes, okay? They pay taxes on Medicare. They pay taxes on Social Security. Do they get Medicare? No. Do they get Social Security? No. But that is what happens. All right, so these people are paying taxes for services they do not get because the corporations are paying them. These aren't people who are getting jobs under the table as just dishwashers. That's not what is happening, okay? These quote unquote undocumented workers aren't just like working in mom and pop shops and getting cash thrown at them. That is not happening. Corporations are hiring them. Hence why they're paying taxes for services they are not receiving. All right? Let's talk about Ice Ice Baby. Let's talk about the rounding of these people. Let's talk about putting them in planes. Oh, do you think they're just like going on commercial planes that are flights that are already happening? Like, oh, cool, there's a flight to El Salvador. Well, let's just like put some of the undocumented workers in this flight, this commercial flight to El Salvador. No. That's not happening. There are contracts of the trucks that pick the people up, the ICE that's going to get the manpower to go get the people. Then you got to put them in their cages. There's contracts to build the cages and erect the cages. Then you got to put them in the planes, and then the planes have a contract. This is a business. It is a business of making money to get people and get them out of here and subsequently torture them. But that is all part of the business. It's not happening for free. It's not like they're like, oh, there's already a flight to El Salvador, so let's get on that flight. No. These are contracts. All right. So just think about the economics of what it takes to like go find the quote unquote undocumented people, the manpower, the this, the that. We drive the truck, we get the oil, we do the thing, we get our gas. Now we round them up and then we have to hold them. It's money to be made. Okay. It is a business model. Let's not get that twisted. All right. Let's talk about some other ice. They say that ICE was created during, as like a response to the 9/11 attacks. Not true. It's older than that. It's about, we could go on and on. I don't want to go into a whole data thing, but we kind of, maybe I can. Let's see if I can weave it all together for you. Okay, so ICE was created a long time ago, but like why? What is the deal with quote unquote homeland security? I'm going to just say the reason why I'm quoting things, okay, is because I want you to recognize how much these words are pumped into your consciousness without you having to really think about what they freaking mean. Okay, so quote unquote homeland security. You wanna know what some homeland security might be? Perhaps like not waging wars. Perhaps like our entire foreign policy is enraging the world, and if we reimagined our foreign policy, we would not need homeland security. Does Finland have homeland security? No, it's not an empire. They're not building an empire. They're just like being white. and like singing songs. I don't know what happens in Finland, okay? Think of all the countries that don't have a homeland security program. The homeland security has nothing to do with homeland security. It has to do with the fact that we are an empire that is doing outrageous activity as part of our foreign policy, and this is just a reaction to that, okay? And also, homeland security is ultimately about how far can we take it to monitor our own citizens. It's not about protecting you. They don't care about protecting you. Are you bonker pants? What protecting you? They're poisoning us. They don't care about protecting us. I mean, like, I've been going on and on and on about chemtrails for over 20 years, and like, finally I'm vindicated, okay? Like, I've been going on and on and on about like poison in the food. Finally I'm vindicated. I think a lot of us are like, yeah, we've been saying. The government does not want to protect you. It doesn't care about you. Doesn't care about you at all. All right. So the reason why the homeland security is so important is because it makes you fear your security. You're like, oh no, people are going to attack me. I better have the daddy government protect me. And then you will trade your freedom for security. That is what homeland security is. How much can we convince you to trade your freedoms for quote unquote security? Turns out a lot. That's what the Patriot Act is, okay? Look into the Patriot Act and look into how much of your personal freedoms are compromised within the Patriot Act. Look at this whole data thing. Okay, here we go, back to the data. Originally, Dumpo Trumpo was like, oh, the data. We're just gonna get like data on these immigrants real quick. Like, we're just gonna like gather the data on these immigrants. Like, no sweat. And now he's like, oh, I actually have data on all of you. It was actually about getting data on every American citizen. So, my bad. If we okay the data on the immigrants, if we okay the data on the quote unquote undocumented workers, we're going to okay the data on us. The data. You are data. That is what you are. Data. It's so crazy that that Star Wars character was named Data. We should look into that. Maybe there was some conspiracy about that guy Data. He was always like, he needed to get fucked, that robot. That robot was so uptight. All right, and let me just also debunk a couple things about immigrants that they're bringing in crime, okay? Not true. They actually increase public safety. There was a study that they did, a 40-year study on violent crime. 40 years, that's a long time to do a study on immigration and violent crime. And violent crime, the rate fell by 34%, and the property crime rate fell by 63% when immigrants came into a neighborhood. That's a 40-year study. I feel like we have to say that again. Immigrants coming into a neighborhood increase public safety. The crime rate fell by 34%, and the property crime rate fell by 63%. I mean, go look it up yourself. I'm not going to be your research bitch, all right? You can do your own research. God, sometimes I feel like we treat each other like, well, you tell me, you figure it out. The amount of people that are like, Tony, how could you post this? Didn't you do your research? You do the fucking research. I don't know. I'm just one person. I'm just one human being. I don't have the time, the chi, the energy to do your homework. You do the homework. I'm just starting conversations. Stop putting all this pressure on me to be your research bitch. Jesus Christ. Okay. The Holy Spirit, you get it. What else did I want to say? Just a friendly little reminder. The friendly little reminder. Oh, what's happening to the children when they take the parents? I mean, come on. They're taking parents away. Do you think they're just like, well, let's put the children in nursery school and care for them? Do you know how annoying other people's kids are? No, the kids are going into being sex trafficked. That's what's happening to the kids. It is not cool, all right? You tell me what's happening to the kids when they're just taking away parents and then the kids go missing. When you put parents in cages, you're not just like caring for children. You know how hard it is to care for children? It's a lot of work. They're not doing that. So what's happening to the kids? What's happening to the women? I mean, they're taking the men, the sex trafficking, the sex trafficking. You research the sex trafficking. I can't even hold the horror of the sex trafficking alone. We need to get into the sex trafficking of all this. P.S. Trumpo, he's asking for 45 more billion for ICE and 175 billion for border security. Just so you know, it would take 25 billion to end all hunger in the United States, and all of this money is going to preserve what? Corporate greed. All right. I think that was a long enough podcast about this subject for you today. Let me know what you think. I'll be back on Friday for Free Ball Friday, and please remember to send your questions to Come Inside of Me at Gmail. No, Come Inside of Me podcast. My bad. Come Inside of Me podcast at gmail.com. I made the website, comeinsideofme.com. Go check it out and just like tell me nice things about my website skills, which are very minimal. And also, oh yeah, if you ever want to book a one-on-one session with me, you can do that on my Tony Naj website. I'm actually like an amazing somatic practitioner, not to brag. I'm really good. So, or like if you need creative coaching, or if you want to just like talk to me for an hour, you can do that. You have to pay for it, but you can do it. Sick. I love you very much. Have a wonderful day. Let me know if this was helpful to you, what you think, if you agree, disagree. I'm down to clown. Bye.